Hello and welcome to episode 85 of the Fools on a Hill podcast, where we bring you the latest news and our expert opinion on the newest releases in the world of music. I'm Carl. I'm joined by Yanni and Liam. Hiya.
What up?
Yeah.
Are we all right?
I love you.
Bloody great, mate.
Bloody great.
Oh, been fantastic.
There's new camera angles on the go, isn't there?
Not for the listeners or the viewers, for me and Liam.
Well, there will be for the people at home because Yanni's no longer looking to the side. Or
Not
whatever he
as
usually does.
much.
Is it
There's
still
a
to the side?
There's still slightly to the side, but it's not as
Oh,
not breaking my neck.
wow.
You don't have it right in front of you?
I can't, Liam. I can't
Shit.
do that.
Shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liam's
Ever
got a
since
mullet,
the
everyone.
I've got a mullet.
Yeah. Billy Ray.
Can't wait to-
Billy
It's like
Ray
Billy
has
Ray,
been
yeah.
mentioned 3 times in like the past 15 minutes. We are single-handedly keeping this man's career alive.
Calm's
Yeah.
got a bob.
I have
He
got a
has.
bob. It's gone. A little bob. It's
Oh,
wet
God.
because I've just had a shower. Yanni,
And I'm in need of a chop.
yes, unkempt. Anything happened
On
of
gangs.
note this week?
I've been doing decorating.
He's been
I've-
doing decorating. He
I've
has.
been
I can vouch
painting
for that. He really
just
has.
before this podcast, and I'll be painting straight after it.
Wow.
Sounds like fun. I've had a bit of a clear out.
Have you?
Yeah, we
Bowels.
bought a Henry Hoover.
Wow, what a shit purchase. I hate them with a vengeance.
I hate
Well, they're
them
not
too,
shit.
Carl.
They're the best.
They're the best Hoover.
vacuums.
But they're the worst.
Yeah, they are a lump to carry around, but they are the best at what they do. It was done because I know you're dying to ask that question. Why have you bought one? Because mole's hair just gets everywhere, and in one of those rolling vacuums that we have, we
Yeah.
had a Dyson
Scissors.
handheld one.
Got to chop 'em.
Well, no,
I know
that's
that.
too
I know
much.
that story.
the pain is too real. So now we have a Henry, and I'll tell you what,
You okay?
life's never been better.
Okay,
Yeah.
not you. It is great. You have the fortune. Why can't I hear very well?
I am
You're
off
on-
the fortune.
That you're on one floor. Now, a Henry on 2 floors.
Oh yeah.
Hell on earth.
Also,
There's a handheld Henry, you know.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the same power. The reason you
No,
want a Henry
absolutely
is because it's got that power. It's got that enthusiasm,
Suction.
love and affection that you need.
you've never known pain until you've had to hoover a pub with a Henry Hoover. Now that was horrible.
Well, I've had to hoover a restaurant with Henry Hoover. So
Well, there we
I
are.
do
I've
know
had to
your pain.
Hoover Games Exchange with a Henry Hoover. So
Wow. Big up
They
Henry.
used to clean Game Exchange. I
I
don't
had
believe that
to-
for 1 second.
I had to clean Games Exchange. That was pretty much my whole job at Games Exchange, was to fucking clean things, clean those shelves, clean the windows, clean the glass cabinets. Whole job.
Yeah, apart from that though, nothing else happened. What about you, Carl?
No, not much. Half term, so I've had the week off. Karis's mum and dad are coming tomorrow, I think. Just a quiet one, really. Recuperating. Playing a bit of FIFA.
You've had the week off for half term.
Yeah, I booked it off.
I have
I
2.
was going to say.
Oh, well done. So
Can't
you're
complain, so.
you're now staying at home, actually doing work rather than when you're working.
Yeah, from here.
Irony. So
Oh,
when I
really?
asked you what had happened this week, boys, you said nothing. I think you're lying to me.
We did lie.
Oopsie daisies.
It's time for our first segment of the day.
So many segments.
So many segments.
annoying.
There actually is. There's more than usual this week. You lucky sods. This is a segment we like to call
Fools on tour, fools on tour, fools on tour.
2/3 of the fools were on tour this week. I stayed at home because
Stupid.
Oh, we need to sort that curl out, mate.
I know, I don't know what's going on. It won't go. Because when tickets were purchased for this particular event, I was
I feel
Foolish.
like I'm dumb.
I was foolish. I had not yet listened to Slanted and Enchanted. So
You were uneducated.
I was uneducated, exactly.
Yeah.
But who did you go and see? I mean, I just gave the game away with the album name, but some people might not know.
Pavement.
Wow.
Pavement.
Pavement. Yeah, that's who.
They sound
Pavement.
exotic. Where are they from?
Stockton,
The
California.
faraway
baby.
lands of the Americas. Went to see Pavement in Manchester, the O2 Apollo,
Shit
Yes.
venue.
and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty poor.
It
Hate
is
it.
shit. But we were right at the front, weren't we?
At Barrier,
At Barrier. Um,
to the side a little bit.
right. Yeah, more or less. Well, we weren't dead on with him, but we were very close to being dead on with old Malcolmus. And it was one of the best performances I've witnessed of Pavement ever. I'm not
Yep.
just saying that because I was there, because it was better than when we went to see them at Primavera by a mile. But also of watching performances on YouTube, they were just so tight.
Yep.
And they all seemed like they wanted to be there.
Yeah, it's something that's been echoed by pretty
Sorry?
much anyone that's talked about this tour online, is that it's like the best they've ever seen of them. And I also read something that apparently Malcolmus had said before the tour, or that the band had said that they were going to try and play stuff, a kind of album perfect. And they really did most of the way. And as Yanni said, it was much better than Primavera, which obviously was there. It was actually their second show back together. When it was still a bit scrappy and still a bit messy, but they were having a good time up there. And this time it was like they really kind of found their groove of things a bit more. They had a good old time. It's just joyous watching a bunch of old friends jam on stage, having a good time, and play some bangers. Because they are bangers.
Truly. We both have a favourite song, and it is both the same. Performance, I mean, of the night.
Yes.
Shoot the Singer.
Yes.
It surpassed our expectations for how that was going to be.
It was the one, but that and another one which didn't get played, sadly, were my two that I was desperate to see. And they played Shoot the Singer second. And as soon as it kicked off, it was just, it sounded better than the record. It sounded like perfect, pretty much perfect. I've no complaints whatsoever. And it's a great song, and very happy that we got to see that, for sure.
High praise.
So high for you.
It was one of the probably one of the best gigs I've ever been to be honest.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was nice that we both said it was nice not to just be like drinking and be like pushed around in a crowd for once. It was nice just to sort of take it in.
Just
not
at
really,
the barrier. Yeah,
just chilled out.
Wow.
Listened.
Lovely. Liam, I do believe you came home with a little artifact.
I did, and I have it right here.
I was hoping you would.
I can show the crowd. Yeah, of course. I got Stephen Malcolmus's setlist, which is here, right here. As you can see, there's lots of G's and F's, which are his Guild SG like, and then his Fender Strat, I'm guessing. He swapped guitars a lot through the show. And then there's one here, Rental, for Perfume 5. And yeah, I was kind of, I said to Yanni beforehand, I was like, I need to get the setlist. I just, I'm a bit of a loser. I quite like getting a setlist because my memory's not great. It's nice to have something to kind of remind me of what was played at a gig.
If it wasn't for that set list, he wouldn't have remembered he went to see him.
I wouldn't. No,
Someone should
I
really make a
absolutely
setlist website.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money from that, probably.
Maybe. Yeah, that was. He said to me, "I really want to get a set list," and I said, "Well, if there's one person I know who's going to get a set list, it's going to be you." And what would you know? It was one of the last ones as well.
It was very lucky, yeah. So straight after the show finished, the drummer Steve West and Rebecca, the new keys player, they both like went and got their. They just brought their set lists over to the front the second they finished to give out, and then they went and grabbed like a couple of the others and gave them out as well. And so like 4 were gone pretty much straight away, and they were all on the other side. I was like, oh shit. And then Spiral Stairs was walking off stage. Just kind of, you think he came back on for something, and then he was walking off and he was waving, and he kind of made eye contact, and I waved and was like, I like pointed down, and he kind of spotted, and it was just the perfect moment. It really, all the stars aligned at that moment. And so he like had come across the stage and grabbed Steve Malcolmus's, which was still on the floor.
He was very lucky to get it in that good a condition as well, because he had to yank it from underneath the mic stand. So I was expecting the half set list just to be ripped off. But yeah.
Did you have
Yeah,
to
very much appreciate that.
fight anyone off for it, or was it pretty uncontested?
No, 'cause
Have you
he kind of
seen this
brought it to-
man's length?
He brought, yeah, I could almost reach it, to be fair. He brought it to the edge of the stage, gave it to a security guy, and pointed at me.
Oh
And was like,
wow,
give it to him. It was, yeah, it was pretty cool.
lovely. Big up.
From that moment on, he
Spiral
thought, I better
Stairs.
listen to Pavement.
Yeah. Maybe I should give these guys a try.
Big up Spiral
Um,
Stairs. Big up Pavement. I'm glad you had a good time. Any
Oh,
Taco
ju-
Bells
just,
consumed?
No.
No
of course
Taco Bells
not.
with McDonald's. I just want to point out that Bob Nastanovich is one of the best not
Oh, yeah.
frontmen ever. Incredible. Like some of his like moments of
Unreal.
like screaming down the mic at the crowd were brilliant. Really like knows how to work a crowd for sure.
Work it. Yeah,
it,
and that's
baby.
been Fools on Tour. If you've seen Pavement, then let us know below your thoughts on your experience with them. I'm so annoyed that we didn't get to see Desert again.
I know. And we also had a problem with the screen behind them. Like the top third of the screen was broke, so like all the visuals didn't look as good as they should have, and the support weren't great. And
Oh yeah, the support were something we won't comment on, but the flexibility, that's a positive.
positive, yeah,
positive.
yeah, she was very flexible.
But yeah, ending that segment, I'm moving on to not what it's named on Notion. How very confusing.
Oh yeah, that is.
It's going to be hot off the press.
Just remembered talking about Bob Nastanovich when he came to that corner of the stage and you could hear him over the speakers
Yeah.
screaming.
Is he the one who follows us?
Yeah.
My G.
Cool guy.
I would like to start off this hot off the press segment by stating that these are apparently the highlights of some of the singles we have missed over the past few weeks while we have been doing these multiple album spotlight episodes. Strap in. I don't think I've made
Strap on.
one positive comment.
Ooh,
Oh, dearie me.
So,
Well,
wow.
starting off, excuse me, with Ghost Woman and the song Broke. I put nice guitar tones. I don't think there should be any argument there. Nice
no,
guitar
yeah,
tones.
I was being facetious.
Wasn't bad overall, just not something that I think I'd ever like actively go and put on.
Do you know what, Yanni? Mirrors. It's something I would typically like, but I was just pretty bored. Yeah, the guitar tone was cool. I like the voice, but I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, boys. Whoa.
Ah,
And the solo was pretty good. That's all I'm going to add to that. But yeah, literally everything else you said.
Brilliant. And now
Pretty easy.
for a moment I've been waiting for since it was released. It's Blink-182.
since you rejoined the band.
Since I rejoined the band, of course, with the song Edging.
I feel like I've
insert,
been edging to this moment.
brilliant. Insert Millhouse. Stop. He's already dead. Clip right now. The auto tune
not
in
Millhouse,
this
that.
is sickening, and the tune itself seems like a parody of Blink-182, who already aren't the most serious of bands, but it just, yeah, I can't really, without just outright saying, I thought this was shite, which I've just done.
Yeah, it does kind of sound like a Blink-182 cover band trying their hand at an original. But I also must say that I hate that I don't really hate it. I'm fully aware that it's shit, but it's pretty fun. It's just a pretty fun time.
I do get what you're saying, and like it's kind of like it's not an abomination, is it? It's just not good at the same time. I had this on earlier, and Lydia said it sounds like a kid song, like something that would be like on some sort of kids program or an advert or something. And I think that sums it up well enough. I don't know.
Yeah, big all around.
Yeah.
La Femme, Liam, I'm going to take it over to you as our resident Frenchman.
It's actually Spanish, I believe. A tuta vas.
Yeah, but the artist.
The artists are French, yes, but the song is in Spanish.
Yeah, I know, but
But no, if I'm the resident Frenchman, how would I know how to pronounce? Oh, you asking me to pronounce a band?
the whole
I don't know.
thing.
La Femme and.
And then
Tout
I need you to
Avance.
switch your style
Okay,
to Spanish for the
La Femme. I mean, that's French.
obviously.
Tout Avance.
Brilliant. That's definitely not offended anyone.
No.
This song was all right, I suppose. But I was aware that while I was listening to it, I just wasn't in the mood for this.
Yeah, I just didn't care, despite the pretty sounds. It's got FIFA written all over it though.
That's it. I didn't see that anywhere.
That's what it means in Spanish. That's what FIFA stands for. Adutava. Yeah, I like this song. I think it's I like it, but like it's not one I'm gonna really go back to and listen to. I think it's interesting they've gone for a bit of a different style and obviously a different language. I believe the whole album that this is from is who knows? It's all the same, isn't it? Really, it's all French to me. I think the whole album that this song's from is going to be in Spanish. So that goes, and it's got a bit more of a Spanish flair, hasn't it?
Definitely Spanish flares. Next up, Mandrake Handshake, a band that we have seen live.
Fantastic tambourine man.
The best tambourine man.
Pretty good guy.
The guitars in this reminded me of something else. But
Yep.
I couldn't quite
It
place my
is
finger on it.
Sunglasses by Black Country New Road. Identical chord progression.
Right. Okay.
Even played in the same way.
Okay. And overall, I thought this song was all right, but I didn't need 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, precisely. Excessively long. Liam, if you're looking for the confirmation of that chord progression being the same, I don't know if you are. It's the end bit of the song, just before you tell me that I'm wrong.
I wasn't looking.
Okay, good.
So you just embarrassed yourself, haven't it? Is it my
What
turn?
do you think of it? Yes.
Oh my god. Fuck me. I was embarrassed.
I forgot that Callum had spoken. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bit too long, and I like the sound of it. I think they've made a decent song. It's just too long.
Yeah. All right then. Baby Cool with the song The Sea. Well, we shall see right now what we think when we talk about it. Very short response to that. Opening act vibes I got from this song.
Yeah, get you. Nice music, but it was too slow and boring.
Yeah, I really like the voice, and I just like the kind of general holiday vibes of this. Very pleasant if you were just sat, enjoying
holiday.
a nice cocktail by the beach. But yeah, not a lot really happens. Really, I think it needs just a bit more summit in it.
Bit more summit. Speaking of a bit more summit, Yabba with the song Get By. Jay-Z meme I put just from the offset. Although the song feels like it's purposely trying to be off-putting, I put the only thing that put me off were the vocals in the verse. I didn't really like those, but the rest of it I was surprisingly vibing with.
I left all my listening till very late. Bar the album. And I did not like this. Could have been my mindset. My notes were Jesus Christ, and this was precisely when I messaged in the group chat about the state of this week's music.
I definitely didn't enjoy this at all. I was
Why was it
trying
added then?
Yeah, I was thinking, how has this possibly been left
It
on?
wouldn't have been me.
It definitely
I
wasn't
don't
me
know.
either.
I don't remember
add
this one
stuff.
either though. So
Oh, we've got a little hacker.
But like I often add things
Yabba
about listening
themselves.
to them. So here we go. It's sparked a bit of conversation on it. But yeah, no, I just found it just completely
Regretfully.
off-putting. I'm trying to find something to enjoy in it. Just really wasn't. To be
Just really wasn't. Fuzzy
want-
Sun, in there, out here. It's not necessarily bad, and I enjoyed the variety of the vocal performance between the verse and the chorus. But the music itself feels like it's from a decade ago.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first heard this, it was just on in the background, and I honestly had no idea that it was Fuzzy Sun whatsoever. There is nothing in that was reminiscent of anything that they've done before, which you could look at it in a positive way, you could look at it in a negative way.
How did you choose to look at it?
Negatively, because I like their
Yeah.
old stuff, and I wasn't really that keen on this.
Brilliant.
Fuzzy Sun, am I right in saying, are the ones that released that album of like a blow up dog?
Yes.
Silver blow up dog. And we relatively enjoyed that. At least you and I
Yeah.
did, Cal, I think.
We did. Cologne is a banger.
They've released a single before this one, haven't they, though? Am I right
Yes.
in saying that as well? I
You
haven't checked
are.
any of this. And
You're
I
so
don't
right.
think any of us like that either.
Not
And
really.
we
No.
talked
It was
about
alright.
how
I
they
didn't mind
They
it.
seem to have really changed their style. Or
Mhm.
I think I remember saying that.
Yes.
And yeah, I stand by that, whether it's true or not. I don't really, not a massive fan of this. I don't think it's bad by any means. It's just not, I'm not really into it.
There we go. That's his review of that. Next up, we have Sam Fender with the song Wild Grey Ocean. Now, if you've heard Sam Fender, I think you pretty much know what you're going to get yourself in for with this. It was a nice tune, but it's not one of his that I think I'd ever choose to put on.
Yeah. Completely agree. Nice, but do we need it? No. The outro was too long, and I was bored.
I really do quite like this. I understand why it wasn't put on the album. Because there are already quite a few slow ones on there. I think I would pick this over some of the slow ones on that last album.
Hot take.
If I'm being honest, I think this is a really nice song. It's gone straight into my car playlist. Because I think this comes on a drive. It'd be very nice.
Very apt for what we're going to be talking about later.
And
Foreshadowing.
and the sax solo is very good. But yeah, I think this is. It sounds. When I first saw it, I hadn't seen any other context to it. I assumed it was from the deluxe album that was coming out, version of the last album. But I also pondered if it was potentially a new track because it does feel slightly more mature, maybe again than from the last album. But
Different style of artwork as well, which could possibly.
yeah, it was
play
similar
into that
enough that I was
notion.
like, maybe it is, but then also it could be.
I saw this
something
was from the live. Sorry if you've just mentioned this, but I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
I saw this
yeah.
from the live album
Yeah,
that he's releasing. Is that what you just said?
yeah.
Okay.
It's from the reissue. It's a reissue of the album with bonus tracks and all the rest of it on the live shit. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's not really a new era then, is it?
that's what I said.
He did. Oh, Yanni, listen, man.
I
he?
literally spelled
Next
that out.
up, and finally,
Fucking
in
hell.
hot off the press, we have King Cruel. No, we
Yeah.
don't. We have
Yes.
Finn
Yeah, we do.
I'm
Foxel,
glad we got
Foxel. And yeah,
Easy, isn't it?
it just was King Cruel. But I didn't dislike it, despite it being
Easy,
very
easy.
derivative. It's just quite a bit of good fun, good melody, and the chorus was a highlight for moi.
Well, I didn't realise this was added on because when I was going through the songs last night, it was just put down as fi. So I just presumed
always
someone
does
had made a typo and just ignored it. So yeah, I didn't realise until the very start of this recording, had it on the background, and the only thing I could take away was the fact that it is Easy by King Cruel, and I've not got anything more to add, I'm afraid.
I heard this in the car last night when we were into Morrison's, and it started like a little bit into this. Well, when I got in the car, it was on a little bit into the song, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds like King Cruel." I don't think I've heard. I don't recognise this song. And then I looked at the thing. It said Finn Foxel, What's Your Poison? I thought, oh, maybe that's just from like the last song that was on. And then he said, "What's your poison?" And I was very confused. I was just so thrown off by the whole situation because I was completely convinced it was King Cruel. Then when I got out of the car and checked and realised it wasn't. I thought maybe he's got a new alias, but apparently not. But it's still a pretty solid song, to be fair.
Yeah.
I do think it's not bad at all.
I agree, bro.
It's very kind of, especially the beginning is just easy. Too many easies there. But the rest of it kind of deviates a little bit from Archie.
Brilliant. That's been our Hot Off the Press section. We have got a double ender coming up for you. Aren't you so lucky?
You are.
I am, and you are. We're all so lucky. So strap in, hop on.
But first, we must take a detour to the unsigned, sealed, delivered section
Oh, wow.
that we
That
just
came out of
never
nowhere.
ever go to. So we'll see you
Wow.
there. Get a drink.
I'm yours.
Unsigned, sealed, delivered. A segment
I'm
that we
I'm
had
yours.
so many big ideas for,
Inundated
and
with people getting in touch with us, haven't we?
we actually
I
are.
can't open my front door for the letters and the parcels, tapes and what have you.
But we just can't be asked. However, this week, real band The Pastimes have released their debut single called Tide. So we thought we'd include it, support the locals and all that.
Yep.
Here is lead singer Cameron giving us a little rundown on the track.
Yeah, for Tide, we recorded it in the Motor Museum in Liverpool. We had Ben Harper produce the track, and we were really happy with it. So we're gonna be back in on the 9th and the 10th of November. We're doing 2 more tracks, and then hopefully by the end of the year we'll have a full EP out, with a few more dates in the works. And for inspiration, it was bands really like Placebo's early stuff, and Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, My Bloody Valentine, just loads of like 90s stuff is really the main inspiration for the band really. Most of our stuff's quite like grungy, shoegazy kind of stuff. So yeah, if you want to find us on social media, it's at the Pastimes Band on Instagram. Twitter is at the Pastimes. Facebook is just the Pastimes. So yeah, nice one.
Thanks, Cameron. That was a wonderful rundown of what to expect from the band as well. Intrigued by the possibility of an EP that's going to be out, hopefully sooner rather than later. Like you mentioned, if you don't know who they are, go follow them on socials. Listen to the song. We're talking about it because we enjoyed it.
We
If we
did.
don't enjoy something that you submit, it's not going to be on the podcast.
Well,
So that's the way it works.
they didn't even submit it. We sort them out.
That's
So
true.
that is
Headhunted, yeah.
exactly. So that must say that we somewhat enjoyed it. No, I'm joking. We did really enjoy
It helps that we know of them. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did we think of the track itself? Yanni, please start.
I thought it was good. I thought the mix and everything sounded great for what it was trying to achieve, the shoegazy kind of style that it was obviously trying to attain. I think it nailed. And the vocal effects were really good. To be honest, as a first single, I think this does not sound like it is,
No.
which is a positive comment.
Absolutely not. Anyone who knows me knows that I love the shoegaze. So anything in that style is going to tickle me bum a little bit. This certainly does that. Yeah, I thought the vocal effect is fantastic. Love the reverb and the echoes and all that jazz. The chorus was incredibly powerful. And I think the influences that Cameron mentioned just not a moment ago really do come through in the track, but it not in a derivative way. It feels fresh, and it's just really good. Yeah, for a debut track, it's really, really, really good. So yeah, keeps me interested despite it being quite long as well, which is another good sign. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. When you mentioned this, Callum, and I put it on, I was genuinely very impressed. Just the whole setup of like this is a band are they from Rhyl, yeah, or somewhere
I
else? North
assume
Wales?
so. North Wales.
From
is
the North Wales
someplace.
area, at least. Possibly from Rhyl. Yeah, it just sounded so much better than I expected. Production wise and stuff, as you mentioned, Yanni, and the sound of the guitars is gnarly, baby. It kind of it feels like it would be on like a early Spider-Man soundtrack.
That's high praise.
Do you know what I mean? But I think it's great. And I think the way when it comes in with those heavy guitars, it's just like it's such a juxtaposition to the parts before.
Oh, he's done
Like
it.
those heavy guitars really like pack a punch, and I think it's really well done. I bet this would be pretty good live.
Yeah.
I bet it fucking would be. You can go to the socials. I'm sure they're doing gigs all the time. So, you know, if you want to see it live, then
Go and support 'em, yeah.
go support them.
Thank you,
God damn it.
Cameron. Thank you, the pastimes.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Yanni and Liam.
Bye.
Here
You're very welcome.
is that
The moment I
aforementioned
teased.
final destination. However, we hopefully don't
Happily
die
got
in
off.
conspicuous fashion. It is the album Spotlight.
Oh, boys. Boys.
Yeah.
We've got 2 album spotlights. The first of which we're going to be reviewing is Dry Cleaning. The album is called Stumpwork. I like how we've now started putting the record label on the notions.
Thanks, Jenny.
I'm not going to mention it. So, anyway, we're going to talk about the album track by track. That's what we do. The first one is Anna Calls from the Arctic. God, it must be cold there. This is a song that has a very nice bass line carrying the track. However, it's too long.
Well, that is an opinion that I don't share. Well, the negative part anyway. I share the part about the bass line. Dry Cleaning, they do have some naughty bass. That was evident in the first album. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here and I'm a man. I can't do it.
Shocking.
Hey.
And I'm going to say it now. This album's better than the first one. I enjoyed it a lot more. I think this is a fantastic opener. I really, really like this track. I liked it when it was a single. The lyricism, just
Tip top.
On point.
Tip top. I just want to start by saying that I've managed to avoid looking at this artwork while
It's
listening to this
it's
song.
hideous, isn't it?
And now I'm staring it in the eyeballs, in the pubes, and it's making me feel a bit sick. And I think
Yeah.
it's going to affect my score. I'm sorry to tell you guys. Fuck it, it's so heavy. I just don't like looking at it. Anna Calls from the Arctic. Yeah, I think this is a great opener. I like how kind of low key it is. In terms of the vocals and the guitar, a very nice kind of atmospheric undertone of guitar throughout, which works very well, and obviously that very nice drive and bass. But yeah, a good opener, a solid opener.
Nice. Next up, we have Quenchy Cups. Big respect for getting the word dick face
Absolutely.
into a song.
Absolutely. That needs to happen more.
It does.
This is arguably my favourite track of theirs that I've heard. Or just initial
You like it?
initial attraction to a song. I just thought it was fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Be
Thank
careful,
you.
lad.
Mr. Codgelong, please talk.
You want me to talk? This is out of
Every
order, though.
fucking week.
This is...
No, it's
Yanni,
not.
You spoke.
Liam, Yanni
Yeah.
mentioned dick face. That was clearly all he had to say.
Oh,
It is.
right, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think this song's really good. It's probably possibly my favourite off this album. And I really enjoy the guitar in this. I think it's an issue with this this band and this type of music.
Stay with
in
us,
this
mate.
Album.
Stay with us.
I'm still here, just trying to gather my thoughts. Is that it's the guitar there's a lot of kind of parts to the main guitar, but it does repeat kind of often, and I think that works really well for the type of music. It can just get a bit repetitive. That's more of a comment for the whole album, not necessarily this song, but I might as well get out there because it kind of applies. But lyrically, I really like this one. I love the whole I'm going to see the water caterpillar, no such thing, and the way she goes, as if like, what? Just that delivery and stuff on some of those kind of more comedic lines are really good, considering she's very kind of one tone the whole way through. It doesn't feel like that. It does feel a bit more like she's putting some expression into some of the stuff she's saying.
Well, I mean, when we reviewed that first album, which I was very much not a fan of, that was sort of when all this Sprechgesang started hitting the forefront of popular music, and it took some adjusting to, personally. But with this, I can now appreciate the fact that she's not that monotonous.
No.
Out of all the singers of
Mhm.
this style,
Yeah,
she's the least monotonous.
but like she almost is at the same time. It's quite a
No, you can't be both, Liam.
No.
God damn it.
it's quite admirable how she somehow does it. Where like if you were to look at the range of notes, it doesn't feel like it's that much, but the way she stretches some notes out and kind of like adds little affectations and stuff in places,
I
really
think
makes a difference.
I think it's easy for us to kind of, you mentioned it in the group chat, one of you, about the Sinead O'Brien effect, where I really like Summer's Sinead O'Brien, but in terms of a whole project, it's quite taxing sometimes. However, despite the vocal delivery being the same the whole way through in the Sprechgesang style, I do think that there is melody in this album, and to marry the two is very impressive, and it works well.
Truly.
She provides a solid like sorry, go on.
Oh, it's fine. I was just going to wrap it off by saying I hope there were otters there.
Oh yeah, I hope there was there as well. To be honest, I was just going to say that as well as kind of adding melody, she also vocally adds a lot of rhythm, which I think is very interesting, and like drops it into the right places. Where it's like there's just been a bit of guitar for the last like 3-4 seconds, and then she'll just say 2 words and then kind of leave it, and don't know, it just works very well.
Next up, we have Gary Ashby, which was one of the singles. I liked this a lot when it came out, which I think was to the surprise of both of you at the time. And I still very much like this.
Oh, yes,
Probably my
Yanni,
favourite.
Well done, Yanni. Well done.
Thank
Congrats,
you,
son.
Daddy.
Um,
Daddies. I've not finished, goddammit.
oh.
The guitar and the bass combination. I don't know what it is. The tones maybe, but just and what's being played. It's just instant enjoyment.
I think it's that they're playing like almost completely different things. They seem like they shouldn't fit together at all. They're not at all following through most of the songs the same rhythm, same melody, nothing. It seems so divorced from each other. And yeah, when it does come together, it's delicious.
Yeah, I like how the vocals are sung in a higher register, particularly in chorus. Well, sung. This is as close to singing as we get, which is a nice. I don't want to say the juxtaposition word, but it has impact, shall we say? And despite the fact that the chorus is basically just a name, it's very good, and it is a nice little hook. It keeps it in my head regularly, and just, if anyone has seen Gary, please do get in touch.
Yeah, I really like how this also runs in from Quenchy Cups.
Oh yeah, transition is lovely.
There's a few nice transitions that aren't really like they're not like overly thought out transitions or anything at all. They just do flow very nicely into each other. And that's very nice. And yeah, Gary.
Family Tortoise.
Driver's Story is the name of the next track. There was interesting guitar parts in this, but I wasn't really mad on this one.
Yeah, I think this style of music really does struggle when it's a slower song. I don't know if that's my interest levels that are the problem, or if the actual song just isn't as great. I don't know, but I feel like you can kind of hide behind a lot of instrumentalization to paraphrase.
I'm born again.
Yeah, you can hide a lot behind loud instruments, and when it's a slower song, a lot of the time the instruments are not as prominent, and with this vocal style, it just kind of loses my interest ever so slightly.
Oh,
That is a beautiful jumper, might I say. Just very nice.
I know. I'm very happy with it.
Jumper appreciation. 10 seconds there. Done. Back to the music.
That was the
I
shortest
agree.
10 seconds of my life.
It probably wasn't 10 seconds. But it's lasted longer now because we're still talking about it. And I've lost my train of thought. So that's all well and good,
Bear
isn't
with
it?
me, man.
I agree.
Bear
I
with
think
me,
I said I
man.
was going to say I agree. It does suffer. It does suffer when it's slower. But I think the guitar
Suffering.
the guitar and bass is great in this. And I'm always very enamoured by this guitarist. I think he's very, very inventive in what he plays.
Definitely.
And phrasing and things like that is very, very interesting. And I love watching live videos of them. One, because the singer looks like she's completely spaced out the whole time, just looking completely in the distance and talking to herself. Very strange to watch. But also the guitarist just looks like he's having a great time. And it really feels like it's his like two people's passion projects just kind of smashed together. As she loves poetry and he just loves jamming. And this is what we get.
This is what you get. Next up, you have Hot Penny Day. Noise bass in this. Nice bass. And I like the sax. I presume it was sax in the chorus.
Yep, I really like the guitar tone in this one as well. It was quite reminiscent of Favourite Worst Nightmare. Don't know if either of you got that, particularly the tone. Just a really good track again. Like it a fair bit.
Yeah, I also don't really have much more to say about that. I assume the sound you're talking about, Yanni, is that kind of whatever that is.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those like plastic, like no, the ones with the keyboard where you blow into the keyboard, something like that. Don't know. It doesn't sound like it sounds like a strange instrument, whatever it is, anyway, and it sounds very good.
It does. That's why I mentioned it. Next up, stump work. Now, you may recognise that word, and that's only because it is also the album title. So, calm down. I've explained it to you. The stabby parts that happen reminded me of Shoot the Singer.
Yes.
Did you?
You've spoiled what I was going to say.
Yes.
I was going
So
to
glad we
ask
thought the
you.
same thing.
I was going to ask you what this. Yeah, no, it does remind me of Shoot the Singer a lot, and it's a very enjoyable stabby rhythm.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying.
I think this is my
dun,
second
dun.
favourite track, to be honest. Just because that rhythm was just infectious. Callum.
Wow,
Ground
I
control.
liked it, but nothing really stood out to me. I was tired at this point, so I do apologise.
A tired boy.
A little tired boy.
This is also my second favourite track, Yanni, for the same reason. That stabby rhythm is great, and also the do 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 part is very nice. When she sings that. Yeah, solid tune, to be honest. I think this is the one that I kind of feel like I would go back to the most. I think just as a random song.
Nice. Next track, Hunt Speed. No Decent Shoes for Rain. I like the build-up of intensity in this track. Definitely something that I needed in this album at this point. Something that it was familiar, but also it seemed like it was progressing. Which unfortunately after this, I am a little bit bored. But this track, I like the build of intensity. Like I said, someone else want to take over?
I'll take over. Yeah, I like that too, Ioannis. Guitars sounded quite shoegaze, which, as we know, tickles my bum. I thought Florence sounded quite Mike Skinner in the delivery in this one. And again, the lyrics are just absolutely fantastic. Let's smoke and drink and get fucked, I don't know. Let's eat pancake. Yeah.
I mean,
great.
Either or
Singular
both.
pancake.
Singular pancake.
Let's eat pancake.
That's how Karis talks.
I agree with all that, especially about Karis.
Yeah, but how many? Pancake.
One,
Yeah,
just
how much you
pancake.
want? Oh, pancake.
That's a pancake.
She's going to hate that. That's definitely going in the teas, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll keep in mind.
I really like the guitar in this one. That's all I'm going to add to that. Yeah, the guitar build-up, as you say, Yanni, is very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Don't press me, Liam.
Don't gas me.
There was a bit more singing in this one. There was a section, can't remember whether it was repeated, but I remember as I was listening through whilst doing my work, there was a section where she was actually singing a little bit, and I was taken aback. I thought, no way, I'm not listening to this dry cleaning band, am I? I can't be. And I put that was very, very welcome to hear that. So that's all I've got to say on that one. You've been pressed.
I'm reading the lyrics again here.
Yeah, me too.
All I could afford was a gaming mouse, so don't touch my gaming mouse, you rat. It's just great.
Great.
It's just absolutely fantastic. I like the woodwind that was following a riff.
Woodwind.
That was fun. I don't know what it made me feel, but I had a good time listening to it.
Yeah, I still like this song. I don't remember it being this short when we covered it as a single. But it doesn't. I don't feel like it needs to be any longer. It's perfect. It's perfect.
I remember it being
And the singing is
single.
great. And "Don't touch my gaming mouse, you rat" is one of the best lines.
I
ever.
remember that. I remember the gaming mouse
Yeah.
line. I think we've commented on that, but I don't remember this song. I don't. Conservative Hall. All right song, good lyrics, but I was a bit bored by this one, which sort of came out of nowhere because I was quite positive on the other tracks before this, but this suddenly hit me and I was like, I'm getting a bit bored of this now.
Conservative Hall or Conservative Hell?
Conservative Hell.
Yeah,
Hell.
I was checking out a little bit at this point. However, again, I would like to know a particular lyric that I enjoyed. I wanted to thank you for organising the Edinburgh trip, which, apart from what happened to my Kindle, was amazing. What happened to the Kindle? I have to know.
Intrigue. Mystery.
I have to know. Leave a YouTube comment. Let me know.
Let him know. I just don't really remember this song, and I think I realised that when it got to "Don't Press Me," last time I listened to it, I for some reason thought, when the album finishes and it plays a similar track, and then I restarted it and didn't make it to these last couple of songs because, again, listening back to this last song as well, I just do not recognise them. I think I've somehow managed to not listen to these songs. So
Okay, that's going to be good for the.
Yeah,
next
I've
couple
not
of
listened.
songs
I've not made notes about the last two either.
Oh, right, well, I have, so that's
It's
fine.
not alright.
Liberty Log. I like this one quite a bit. The bass was nice, and all the other sounds that were happening that weren't guitars and drums and a vocal were nice, vibey. However, there is a guitar part that comes in, I believe, about halfway, that is just not playing what should be played. It's completely like a different key, and it is annoying.
Oh yeah,
There
like
you
the
go.
stabby chords in the background.
Yes.
Listening to it just in isolation now, not knowing the rest of the context of the song, sounds all right. But maybe
You would say that, you bitch.
Is it a good ender, Yanni? Can you tell us, knowing the context of the song?
Oh, sorry. And Icebergs, which is the ender.
Is that
You're trying to rush me here, goddammit.
Oh.
No, it's a very, very bad way to end the album, I'm afraid. So sort of a mixed bag overall, isn't it, boys?
Oh, I do remember this
Yeah.
one. I recognise the lyrics about the finding lingerie.
Oh, you
Lingerie?
would, you perv.
Lingerie.
Yeah. And I remember thinking it was a little bit of a dud ending, really. But I think that
Dud.
possibly comes after having a couple of not so standout
Slappers.
tunes.
Okay, now because we're doing two, we're gonna fucking rate them. Why not? Rate
Why
them.
not?
Rate me.
Cal.
I'm going to give this a generous 7 because what I like, I really like.
I'm going to also give it a 7 because I believe that's the right answer.
Well, I wouldn't like to be declared wrong, so I'm also going to give it a 7. For the very same point, Cal, the
Solid
songs that I did like,
sophomore.
I really liked.
I think this is
solid
definitely
sophomore.
the best full offering project offering of Sprekazang I've heard.
Yeah,
possibly
unless you
fair.
throw some other names. I
Unless you
would
consider
agree.
maybe like, is Court in Sprekazang?
No.
It seems
No,
to just say
some
a
of
lot
it,
of
some
that.
of it can be.
Do you know what I mean? Like
suppose.
what the? But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'd say Crass
actually-
probably was.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. I would say, and Tennis probably is. Sorry. Maybe revisit that first album because I listened
No.
to it after this one, and it's from
I will.
ever since we covered it.
Oh, well.
I've listened to it a few times, and I actually really enjoy it, to be honest. And
I will listen to it. I
it
was
makes
just
me
being
more excited for
being
this
silly.
one. I would say that this one sounds a bit better, but I feel like the
It does.
first album's a bit more kind of upbeat, possibly. There's something about it. Although there's a few like electronic drums and stuff in it, which is anyway. We're not reviewing that album, so
We're not. Thank you for listening to this album review. If you like the album, then tell us down below. And up next, it's the return of a fool's favourite. A band that have inspired so many.
Beautiful.
It's Arctic Monkeys
Wow.
with the album
they must be pitching
The
you.
Car. And we're going to discuss this, possibly fall out with one another. Who knows?
Blood will be shed.
There will be blood. And we're going to go through it track by track. That's what we do. It seems to be the most efficient way of getting these things done. So, starting with the first song to be released, and also the first song on the album, There'd Better Be a Mirror Ball, or shortened to just Mirror Ball if you're in a rush. Best song they've written in a long time.
Yeah, I
For
can
me.
get on board with that. Star Treatment as well from the last album. I wax lyrical about that song enough, but it's a
You do.
fantastic opener. It's kind of like the modern Cornerstone in the emotion that it portrays. It does just sound better every time I hear it. It is just so grand and just beautiful, and it is just a wonderful song.
Yeah, it is a stunning opener. To be fair, and I think it really it's a good opener. Just say that. Let me split that
Yeah.
into it's stunning and it's a very good opener. It's a stunning opener, if you will. And I do think lyrically, and in a few other places on this album, not the full album, spoilers. Some of the best lyrics Turn's ever written, I would say. Magical.
Magical. Yeah.
But musically, yeah,
like we-
it's very. Sorry, come on. I'm done.
I was going to say, like we mentioned when we reviewed it as a single, like I mentioned, this is one of the first Arctic Monkeys songs that I feel any sort of emotion towards, and I can't say why. I don't mean that in an offensive way, but like to the other songs, but it just conjures up something within, and it's every time I hear it, it's smashed it with this song. Moving on to, I think, the song they played live for the first time on this album. It is I Ain't Quite Where I Think I Am. The eyes roll backing vocals are delectable.
Yep.
And the middle 8 part is stunning. Possibly my favourite part of the song, to be honest with you. And I also, and this happens a couple of times, I like the guitar tone on this. Got a funky sound to it, but I just think the tone suits the, I want to say 70s kind of vibe they're going for with it. It nailed the sound of it with this. And it's a bit of a grower, this one, I think.
All the best ones are. I believe the word to describe the funk is stanky. The riff is
I
actually
hated that,
sexual.
Colin.
Like when
I hated that.
it makes you like want to like do like that type thing, and it's so much better than the early live videos suggested that it would be. Sounds a lot more full. It's just more of a complete track. It's just I think it's a very good tune.
So, based on what you said, Yanni, I feel like that's you covered all my points, but I have expansions. So, I Draw Back is probably my favorite part of the song. I think that's just sounds good. The middle eight, I also think is the best actual part of the song, if that makes sense. However, I don't think it marries up well at all to the verses on the guitar tone. I think it's a massive juxtaposition, but not in a positive way. It really just feels like it doesn't fit together. Whenever I listen to it, as many times as I listen to it, it never ever works. So maybe it's just my ears, but I just can't. And when the guitar tone comes back in, the guitar line comes back in, it almost doesn't feel earned. That section of the song, I don't feel like the build up deserves or earns that middle eight at all. That guitar riff almost like it isn't, but it almost sounds like it's out of key or something. The notes just don't seem to work with that middle eight section at all when that guitar riff comes back in. I also don't like that guitar riff, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do one time.
That might be the.
I do one time, but the fact it's repeated so much feels so lazy that there's no variation whatsoever. That it just becomes repetitive to me. And what was my final point? I think that's it. Basically, yeah. So yeah, I still just don't get on with this song, and I think after the opener, it's a big like dip for me, really.
Okay. Next up, we have Sculptures of Anything Goes. This one, I think, surprises the fuck out of you when you're listening to this album. Comes out of nowhere with that sound. I mean, people who probably watched this review are also people who have watched all the interviews that have been released. So the talk to death about the Moog synthesizer being, the drums going through a Moog synth, making that sound. I'll just say that was a good choice. I think it works very well. It's reminiscent of sort of AM sound, and I don't mean like I don't know how to take that. I don't know how to make that work, but I mean like it just sounds kind of that same vein. The thread is there, and a little fun thing, yeah, for me is that I listened to this accidentally on 2x speed on YouTube at one point, and it works. It works very well. And when I put it back to normal speed, I thought, "Fuck me, this is slow." But I like the song. One of the better album tracks. It's probably the best album track, to be honest.
I agree with you there. I love how dark it is, and based on some of their live performances from the Tranquility Base tour, I was kind of expecting them to go a bit darker, a bit like heavier synth. So I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't just kind of completely go down this direction, but it is what it is. I do love everything about this track. Some of the lyrics are fantastic. The bit about village coffee morning with not long since retired spies. Love the way that that's delivered. I think it's powerful. It's quite reminiscent of the latest Nick Cave and Warren Ellis thing, like the Carnage stuff. It reminds me a bit of White Elephant, a little bit. Very good. Definitely my favourite on the album of the non-released tracks.
I think this is such an interesting move for them from previous stuff, and I think it works very, very well. There's just something about that kind of ominous sound that isn't too heavy. Like it's the perfect weight, I suppose, on the song. It's not too light and it's not too heavy, if that makes any sense. And that other kind of synth sound, it's like just a dum dum, the two notes, dum dum dum, or whatever. That is very light and airy, and when that kind of there's a point where the bass deep sound stops and it's just that and comes back into it. That is wonderful. The juxtaposition, that word has been used a lot in this episode. Juxtaposition of those two parts are perfect. And I think vocally it works very well as well. And I think lyrically it's one of my favourites.
Faves.
Yeah, and as a song it's probably my favourites. So far it's my favourite now.
Nice. Next up, we have Jet Skis on the Moat. Again, I put nice guitar tones. It's got that same sort of sound as I Ain't Quite. And the chorus part is very nice. However, I've put, and I'm thinking about this upon re-listen. I don't think this song is where it should be. I don't think it is where it is. I think it should be after I Ain't Quite, because it's a continuation of that sound. It feels weird to have that and then Sculptures, which is massively different, and then back again to that same sort of style. And I think
should
there's
say-
a couple of songs to come up, sorry Liam, where I also feel like they're just in the wrong place, and it really makes the album overall fizzle out.
I meant to say before that I think Sculptures is far too high up. That was one of the points that I just forgot to mention.
Could have been a
Um,
closer,
and-
that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I agree that this should have been after I Ain't Where I Think I Am, and they both should have been moved down. And I think, the whole track list is a little bit out for me. So I get what you're saying.
Jet Skis on the Moat, though. I like it. Like the guitar tone. It's quite a sexy tune. Just got, I don't know. It's just got that about it. It's just something about it. I don't know. Don't know how to describe it.
Saucy.
But yeah, a little bit of a hit move on that one.
I think it's nice enough. I don't really. There's just not much to grasp on to it. Really, I just can't see myself ever revisiting it. It reminds me a lot more of Tranquility Base stuff for me, with the same issue of just nothing to latch onto. And I think it's a bit of an issue of this album as a whole, of kind of not really much kind of interesting hooks or choruses and stuff. There's quite a few songs that are missing that, which I guess we'll get into as we go along. But
Certainly will.
this is definitely the start of that for me. Of not kind of different to I Ain't Where I Think I Am, where I actively just kind of don't like part of the song. This one is just kind of, there's not an awful lot for me to kind of really love.
Nice. Moving up, Body Paint. This has grown on me quite a bit. However, I think that's because I now have established what it is that I didn't like.
And what was that?
Well, I'll get to it right now. It's the vocals are far too dry in the mix. Whenever it's performed live, one, it's a better take of the vocals for a start, because the actual take on this is bad. I don't know why he thought, yeah, let's leave this one in. And that goes on throughout the album, to be honest. I think there could have been better takes. And it's whenever we have, well, I say we, because I presume most of us have seen a couple of live performances, have seen this been performed live, there is some kind of reverb or slight echo effect on his vocal, and it makes it sit in the mix a lot better. I feel like the juxtaposition between the ending, the body paint part, it just sort of, it's too sudden. It doesn't, that I don't really necessarily like that, or didn't really like that too much. Before I understood why I didn't like the song overall, but now I've established why I don't really like it overall, it somehow has made it more easy to listen to. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think the confusion for it was the thing that was putting me off, but now I've understood what it is. So slightly better, but not too much.
Well, surprisingly, I really like this song. Some of the live performances, as you say, were fantastic. There's one that was released, Jonathan Ross, the other day, I believe, and there was a German TV one where they cut the second verse, sorry. And despite it feeling very abrupt, I think it just makes the song better.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, I watched that and I thought something's different about this, but also it didn't seem wrong.
Yeah, I do feel like it gets to that part a bit too abruptly, but it's by far the best part of the song, so it's not a bad thing that it gets there quicker. I love how distorted and heavy the ending is on the live performances. I wish that they just portrayed it better in the studio version. Because it's a good track. I just don't think they captured it in the best way.
I think that last point's very true. I don't feel like they cranked it up to 11 enough on part of this album, and particularly the end of this song. You're right. It's not dirty enough. It's not. It also like kind of just fades out quite quickly at the very end, which is a bit of a disappointment. But hello, Mango. But I've definitely this song's definitely grown on me a lot since we covered it as a single. I don't think I was a fan of it either, like Yanni. But now this is probably my favourite on the album, to be honest. The three kind of distinct parts of the song, I think, are all very good and work very well together, and it's the perfect kind of space in between the three parts. That kind of middle part that's almost like, I don't know, reminds me of like ELO or something. I did have some
Hello.
comparison in my head, but I can't remember who it was. But yeah, the ending is stuck in my head all the time. It's very, very catchy, and it kind of reminds me the most of old Arctic Monkeys, I think. Just some sort of hook or something that's interesting that they've always been known for. This is the closest on this album for me, anyway.
Okay, and now we move on to The Car, coming into the second half of the album. It was interesting to hear finger picking on an Arctic Monkeys record. But do I need this song? No, I don't. I don't need this song.
Wow, that's a take. I am a big fan of the finger picking. I'm even more of a big fan of the fact that Alex mentioned the Submarine soundtrack in an interview, which does not get nearly enough respect that it deserves. Great film, great book, great soundtrack. I adore this. I understand what you mean about it kind of not being needed. I do get that, but I think I just love it. I think it's the most different they've gone. And while it still remains a guitar track, I think it's kind of like a nice direction, and it's not some sort of like, I don't know what point I'm trying to make here. I understand why with this whole album, I understand why people don't like it, but me, I just do. I just really like it.
You're allowed to be
wrong.
Wrong, yeah, I was wrong. I was trying to trick you. Maybe you thought I was going to say right, but you are wrong. No, I agree with you. I mean, we just don't need this. It reminds me a bit of like with the finger picking, almost kind of like Latin sounding, and it reminds me a bit of like early Paul Simon stuff, a little bit. And that's all I kind of really think about it. To be honest, there's not much more to think about, I don't think. So, yeah, bit of a mess.
Is Mango okay?
Yeah, Lydia's just gone out, and I think she's quite sad about that. Should we bring her on the podcast?
Grow up,
yeah,
Mango. Grow up.
She wants to come and sit on my knee, I think.
Stupid bitch.
Say hello to everyone.
Hiya.
Hey, everyone.
Hiya, Mango.
I think she's just looking to see if I've got some sort of toy or treat up here, to be honest.
Got a bit of a Deirdre Barlow neck going on, hasn't she?
Brilliant.
Say hello to everyone.
Right. Okay, I think that's enough.
Go on, crack on.
Yeah. Next up, we have the song Big Ideas. I think this is a very good version of this style of song from this album. The chorus, I very much like. It's very cinematic in a way that actually works. And the solo towards the end is one of my favourite solos that the band have laid down on a track. So
yeah, this is a contender for my favourite of the album tracks. But obviously, it's not going to beat Sculptures for me. I love that track, but I agree. This does what it's trying to do extremely well. The chorus again, well, not again because it's one of the only choruses on the fucking album. Works fantastically. I was excited to hear this when I heard one of the bootleg live versions, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, I agree that this really does what it's trying to do very well. I think part of that, and it was a rabbit on, is it's got that kind of chorus or hook or whatever that comes in every so often. Oh, leave me alone. And I just think it sounds very well, very nice. Just a very nice sounding song. I don't quite know what it is that is different between this and the car. It's just a style preference thing, I think. But yeah, I think it's very nice.
Next up, we have Hello You. This is one I sort of completely forgot about, to be honest, until I re-listened to it. The little repeated part in the chorus that's played, the motif, you might say, is extremely pleasant to my ear holes. And upon the re-listen, I've realised that I've liked this one quite a bit. However, this is where the comments come back again about I feel like this is in the wrong place on the album.
Where would you put it?
I feel like I may put it earlier on in the album. Don't know exactly where, but definitely earlier on.
Okay.
It seems like a morning song. Does that make any sense? I don't know. It feels like early on.
Fair enough, mate. I like
Or
how
maybe like start second half. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I like
Yeah, but yeah.
I like how it's a bit faster. No, I like how it's a bit faster and it's got more melody to it than some of the tracks thus far. I think his falsetto vocals in the chorus work fantastically, which is something that we've all felt a bit not conflicted by, something that we haven't really liked, especially on Body Paint when it was first released. I like this track, and I think the album could have done with a little bit more of this upbeat, melodic direction.
Truly.
I think it's interesting you say this is quite a morning song, Yanni, because I think this is quite an AM song. It sounds quite AM to me. There's something about it. I don't know. It's the kind of the synths and the drums or something. I think it kind of remind me of something from AM, but I can't really place it. And I've seen someone compare the guitar riff sound to the guitar riff to Knee Socks, the riff from that, which I think has this kind of the two notes are kind of the same, but that's as far as that goes. But generally, it kind of feels a bit more like old AM than Arctic Monkeys than the rest of the album. But yeah, I kind of prefer this style to the rest of to some of the other songs on this album, but still don't love this song. It just I really do really like the middle eight, and I like the falsetto in that part as well as the falsetto in the chorus. I think that's nice, but overall, it's just a bit kind of like meh again for me.
Oh damn! Next up, we have Mr. Schwartz. Another one that is finger picking. What is going on with all these finger picks? I think this is a better version of the car. For what the car's trying to achieve, I feel like this is a better version of that. My only problem, and this has happened several points throughout the album, however the music has saved it in most cases, is that the singing is bad on this. Not as good as it could be, at least. From Mr. Turner. So that's Mr. Schwartz, everyone.
I agree that it's not probably the best vocal take that they could have picked. However, I do feel emotion in his voice, which is potentially why they opted to go for this one. I like the song because of that. I think it's a beautiful composition. We've not really mentioned the strings yet, which are just beautiful throughout the album. And I think this song is no different. Liam's about to shit on my chest.
No, it's funny.
Oh,
Remind
look at
me.
you.
I did. I will shit on your chest if you want me to. You don't have to. You don't have to disagree about that. No, you've reminded me of something I thought when I was listening to it earlier. But the strings are nice, but they're not. I don't think they're like utilized as well as they could be. I don't feel like they really massively elevate things. They do elevate things because strings just kind of do elevate things anyway. But there've definitely been better uses of strings in modern music. And I think some of it just seems a bit by the books in places. And this song kind of is one of those examples. But yeah, I agree with your comment, Yanni. This is a better version of the car, of what they were trying to do in the car, at least. And like, it's nice. I just don't love this style. I just don't.
It just doesn't.
I don't.
I'm moving on. The final track, it comes around fast, except if you're listening to the album. It's Perfect Sense. It doesn't make perfect sense to end the album with this track. It's not a good way to end it whatsoever. And I'm afraid he's not vocally equipped for this song. There's a point where it sort of builds up about midway through the track, and it needs something powerful and loud and projected well, and that doesn't happen. And this song is something that I noticed that on in particular. So that's me. Sorry, Al. Hope you're not listening.
He won't be.
won't be.
I think it's a good song in isolation, but it does make the album end on a flat note, which is a shame. It just seems to end abruptly a little bit, which is a shame. And I again agree his vocal performance isn't tip top. I think it would have been nice somewhere else, but I think the lyrical content of it, I understand why it was chosen as the final one. Do you think Mango was in your flat then, Yanni? There's a lot of goodbyes on this album. I hope it's not a goodbye. Got me a little bit worried.
Yeah, I definitely agree that this is this is the end of Octomonkeys and this is the final goodbye. Then yeah, it's very much a dud note. It doesn't just kind of like when I first listened to this album, I got this and it just played like something random next. I was like, well, that just doesn't. I don't feel fulfilled by that at all. Regardless of my other comments on the album, it just doesn't feel like a good closer. A good final moment at all. As a song,
maybe
though,
sorry, it's just hit me as you've been talking. I think Mirrorball probably would have been the best way to end this album.
I thought Mirrorball would have been a good closer, but if they ended on Sculptures and they have the intention to make another album, that would have been a perfect way to. And then like that could have been the direction they went in.
Yeah, I just feel like Mirrorball. I think we mentioned this when we covered it as a single that it seems like a send off, even though from the interviews that he's done, where he's talking about tranquility and he wanted to get back in the studio and make a rock record, which
happened.
Should have fucking happened instead of this. But I don't think it'll be a goodbye. But I feel like Dead Better Be a Mirrorball is possibly one of the best ways to end an album that they could have ever come up with.
Yeah.
Like the lyrical content of it fits. And then the musical aspects of it as well. It sort of it feels nostalgic and like you're yearning for something that is no longer going to be. And I feel that would be a great way to end the album. But I'm not Arctic Monkeys. I'm just Yanni.
sorry, go on.
Part of me thinks from interviews that they've done, this won't be the end because I feel like they're all on the same page.
Yeah.
But it's just weird because the content of the lyrics really does make it seem maybe they're saying goodbye to the previous version of themselves.
Era.
Yeah, maybe.
I just remember the random fact. I saw that Jamie Cook is noted as a co-writer for Sculptures.
Yeah, he came up with the synth bit through.
Oh, fair play. I didn't finish talking about this about Perfect Sense. Sorry,
you didn't. Sorry.
I did say that it was a bad end. The closer, didn't I? I mentioned that.
Yeah.
However, as a song, the two parts of the song. I don't know if you'd call them verse or choruses or whatever, but kind of two distinct parts of the song. The repeat. I very much like how they fit together. I like the chord progression. through the song. It's just a shame that it kind of is where it is, and then creates that kind of bad lasting feeling, I suppose, for the album.
Yeah. Yeah,
Here's what it
man.
is. I last night I was listening to this again, and I listened to it 3 times consecutively. I know, and I enjoyed it every time.
Yeah, no.
And then I put Tranquility Base on, and it made me appreciate that album even more because,
I was going to say that. Like,
Despite the
this is elevated Tranquility for me.
yeah, absolutely, because that's actually quite. It's not heavy, but there's definitely heavy elements in it. Like Bat Phone goes heavy. 4 out of 5's is like quite guitar based.
There's points on this where it feels too stripped back. Obviously, they've mentioned about like trying to play for the song, and so Matt's not really doing much drumming, and everything seems like it's to the minimum that it possibly could be, but it's to its detriment. Because when you listen to Tranquility, upon first listen to that, you feel like this is bare compared to what
Yeah.
we've expected from Arctic Monkeys. But there's
really
so
good.
much going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it. So yeah, maybe go back to Tranquility, Liam, because you might appreciate it more after this. I'm intrigued to listen to this album in reverse and to see if my theory about Mirrorball being the closer would work better. But
Maybe
alas,
we'll get a Nigel Godrich order of this
a damn
in
deluxe
20
version.
years.
It's in reverse. We must rate, and rate we will do, starting with Arctic Monkeys fanboy number 1, Colin Davies.
Let's just be real. I'm going to give it a higher score than you both. I would give this a 7.5, but we can't do that. So I'm going to have to round up because that is the rule. So I'm going to give it an 8.
What are the rules? Liam.
Struggling a little bit for a score. And so I've just had a thought of like, there's 10 songs in here. How many of them do I genuinely enjoy?
This is going to end badly.
And that happens to be one of the 2 numbers that I was toying between. So I'll go with that. And it's going to be 4 out of 10.
4 stars out of 10.
I think I'm going to give it a 6. And that
It's higher
has
than I
been
expected.
uplifted due to the fact that I adore Mirrorball so much. I said to Mole, they could have just released Mirrorball and I would have been happy for the next couple of years. That would have been enough for me, to be honest.
I think there's elements of this album that are quite puppety.
Particularly.
And I thought you'd have liked it more, Yanni, because it's all very Bondy as well.
It is, but
not
it's
Johnny
also
Bond
not-
from Catfish.
We talked about the puppet link, didn't we, on a little bit?
Yeah, but it's just not as good as
That's yeah.
as that. It's
No, I agree.
not a good execution of that style. Unfortunately, it's made me annoyed that I've watched interviews, and they've said after you were away when we were talking about this name, so I'm just going to bring it up again. This is going to be great for everyone watching and listening. But they could have gone in and recorded, well, they wanted to record something more rocky. They wanted to find a newer version of like Are You Mine or something that they could end with that would have that same effect. And instead we've got this. I feel like this maybe could have been an EP. Just get rid of most of the tracks, release like an EP as some sort of tidying over thing, and then come back with an album that is better.
Okay, man.
Something to think on
No,
now.
it's Arctic Monkeys, mate, not a shame.
This is such a funny one to end. This is such a funny close to an album spotlight because we are all very different. I don't think
We
we've
are.
ever been.
No.
It's one of the biggest ranges I think we've possibly ever had, and the fact that the other person's right in the middle as well is quite interesting.
Yeah, I am instantly, and that's been Arctic Monkeys review for the album that is called The Car. If you liked it, then tell us what you liked about the album and if you agreed with any of the points we made. So yeah, thanks for watching that. And just for everyone who is listening to the pod, thank you so much for sticking with us. If you have done, although I know the drop off is 30 seconds, so probably haven't stuck with us the whole time. But next week we're going to be on unfortunately, a King is spectacular, as it's put down on the
Fuck, I
Notions notes.
completely forgot about that.
Get remembering, boy.
Fuck me. Oh,
It's going to be a heavy week. That I don't think we're going to make it. So wish us luck. If you've enjoyed the whole video, then like it if that's the one that you're on. Comment down below any thoughts you had. Send abuse to anyone that you want. All our links are in the description. If you are
Preferably.
listening, go to Instagram and Facebook and type @Falls on the Hill podcast to find us there. Twitter @Falls on the Hill pod. And if you want to watch the video, then head over to YouTube and type in Falls on the Hill podcast. You'll find us. Subscribe, ding a bell, and like every single video. We've done our best to try and up our YouTube game, haven't we, boys?
we have. Now people need to watch it.
Yeah, that's the
Please.
missing piece there.
Come on board. And on that note, thanks for another week on this earth with you guys, and us guys, and all the guys, and others. See you next week.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.